Hey guys, morning. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Academic Answers podcast. I missed an episode yesterday. I went out of town a little bit for a little R&R. What happened is that we had this gift, my wife and I, to go on a kind of a romantic getaway. So there's this place up in Connecticut called Lantern Inn, Abby's Lantern Inn. I'm not hesitant to give her the plug because it's so awesome up there. So it's like a 2-hour drive out to New York to go up, 2.5 hours to go up there, like 110 miles. And went up there for a couple of days and just chilled out. Take it easy, get away from the kid. The kid is, up or driving us crazy every day. So we took it was kind of our Valentine's Day stuff. So that was awesome. So I was off yesterday. My apologies for that missing episode. But we're back, and thanks for joining us. Lowen Motivator Car here. It's the Academic Answers podcast where we talk about, happiness, success, full potential. We talk about being your best self and creating something with your life, with the gift that you have been given to bring you to a position in life where you're happy, free, and successful. We don't think that this is anything that is esoterical or is given to a few or magical. We think that it is endowed. We are all endowed with it by our creators. We do have it. And it is our determination and our willingness to go the extra mile, to do whatever it takes to cultivate that. Everything on the planet is cultivated out of a process, and that process is not an easy clip your finger overnight one-shot process. That process is a grueling process. If you look at how plants grow, if you look at how roads are constructed, if you look at how machines are made, if you look at how a baby is born, then you will realize that it is so ordained in the universe that things go through a process, a rough process, that sometimes it's filled with heartache, sometimes it's filled with pressure, sometimes it's filled with lack, sometimes it's filled with sacrifices. But once you go through that process, then whatever you create, whatever you come up with is enough if you handle it the right way to actually give you the best life, instead of half committing, half going through the process, or faking out on it, and then you live your entire life getting yourself into problem and getting yourself out of problem and living in a prison, a place where you are lost, you don't have any fulfillment, you are living in emergency mode, you are a square peg in a round hole. We don't subscribe to that. We believe that all human beings, I'm not telling everybody to be business people, although I know that the idea of business is what is the savior for us because of the times we live in, and in the modern world and in the Western world and most of the world these days. Even the most conservative nations have gotten to take on to business, and that you are eating and you're protecting your comfort zone because somebody else have a business. That's why you have a job. That's why you have cell phones. It's all a business. Business runs the world. And while I'm not telling you to go and open up a huge business, I'm telling you to invest in the business of you. I'm telling you to run the business of you. Maybe you write, maybe you speak, maybe you are creative, maybe you're good with numbers, maybe you like investments, maybe you like stocks, maybe you like real estate. You can do your therapy job, but you can find a way to get paid from therapy while you still work that job, so you can do more of the things that you want to do, and you can run your time better. I think we got interrupted there. So the idea is freedom. That's what we believe in, because we believe that freedom is inextricably linked to happiness. You might think that it is the money and it is a car, but believe you me, when you have to go into you have to go on vacation and you're told that you can't get the vacation at this time, or you have to you need to get to the kids game, or you need to pick up the kid at this time and you're told that you can't continue to do that, or you cannot go to the kids game, then you start to feel like you're trapped and you don't own yourself. And when you don't dictate what you do, when you do, and with whom you do it, you are bound to be uncomfortable. You're bound to feel trapped, and feeling trapped is the thief of fulfillment and happiness. So the idea that your friends, this question, I think I mentioned it, was that this person is not comfortable with our friends, but she loved them, and that is common. I was saying before that you sometimes can't end up with the people who you start out with, and that is the absolute end of the spectrum. You sometimes cannot go the distance with the people who you start out with, because as you grow, you shape your thinking, and you shape your life, and you start to probably come to terms with what you are, who you are, and what you want to do with your life. And not many childhood friends necessarily fit into that, and it's not a bad thing. Nothing's wrong with that. People are different, but many people stay stuck in marriages, many people stay stuck in social relationships, because they don't have the guts to call it quits when something has done its time. I think it was Mariana Wilson who said that if you don't have the courage and the mental fortitude or the conscientiousness to move when life is giving you the signal to move, then life will move on you. And that's the worst thing. You don't want life to move on you, because when life moves on you, you got to play catch up, and you're caught off guard, and that's a bad thing. So the thing with friends who you have, I know this guy who was into development, so he was doing this huge project, and he had a bunch of friends that I always think never fit into the circle. When I had some occasions to be in interactions with him, not business interactions with him, and everybody was there, and I always wonder how come he's doing all this stuff, and he's this intelligent, and he's this business savvy, and the people around him are so off. I thought a couple of the guys who were around him were off, and then one day we were in the bank together, and he was telling me that, you know, one of his friends really messed him up. I was saying to myself, wow, you know, I'm not surprised. But he was really surprised. I think he was explaining to me that there was this party at his house. He invited a couple of big investors, a couple of other developers, and he wanted to set up something with them. And everybody was there, you know, having a good time, drinking, socializing. And one of the guys who were always around him, who he knew from school, and he just kept him around because he was a good friend. You know, they shared a lot of memories. And he was telling me that the guy went on to go way off base and spoke totally out of turn about some stuff that should not be spoken to the people who he said it to. And it totally messed up something in the region of a $10 million deal for him. And it was kind of a bad time. A really bad time. He said that usually some deal like that messed up for him would hurt, but not so much. But he said that this was kind of a defining deal for him, because it was setting him up for bigger things, and it was giving him the in with these guys to establish something greater. He says that that deal could be the thing that would do it for him forever. And it struck me that the people who are around you are the most important people to you. It don't matter who you go out there and do business with, your customers and all that stuff. Those who are around you, who you have interactions with, are those who are going to actually be the most impactful people on your life. Your spouse, your children, your friends. If you have the wrong people around you, you're set to be in real trouble. Whether they are your employees, whether they are your associates, whether they are your partners, whoever. If the wrong people are around you, it will be difficult for you to be all you can be. First, you have to understand that You might be trying to sell some people something that they don't have any desire for. And I always tell my wife this, and she's always wondering why this person do that, why this person do that. And we have conversations about it. And I usually say, well, you know, honey, it is easy for some people to live a certain way because they don't have big goals. So if you don't have any big goals, if you don't have any desires, if you don't want much, if you only want the shoes and a bag and the next nice hairstyle or the next trendy outfit, if that's all you want, then it's easy for you to do anything, to hate money, to get rid of the first dollar you get, to just splurge and to spend money and to do all sort of stuff because you don't have big dreams. If there's nothing bubbling inside you for something major, then it's easy to just go through this life humdrum, go to work, come back home, try to find the next high-paying job, complain about the things you don't like, whine about the things that the boss do, and you go right back again because all you're trying to get is your next bread. All you're trying to get is the next vacation. All you're trying to get is the next bag, the next shoes. That is easy. Although some people are doing that and are living in quite desperation, but it is pretty much easy for them to continue to just do what they do with money, do what they do with their time. Because you know that that's what's going to shape your life. What you do with your money, what you do with your time. And those things stems from how you think, your outlook on life and the desires and the ambitions you have for yourself. The next thing you must understand is that if you're around people who don't have high standards, you cannot motivate them above their standards. So you're trying to tell somebody something to make them take their lives to a next level. They don't have that standard. So the minute you realize that, you have to shed these people. As hard as it is, you're going to have to shed them. Because you know what? If they're around you, like the friend, like the guy I was telling you about, and you bring them into a more affluent circle, and you're trying to do something, and they're just there by the way, whether it's a party or it is a random occasion, they're going to speak out of turn because they don't understand the level that you are at. You have to surround yourself with the people that are in the same type of mindset that you are. Otherwise, you run the risk of leaving yourself vulnerable, open, and susceptible to being destroyed by the tongues and actions of these people. Either their negative utterances in your consciousness when you're trying to do something, either them coming to destroy your confidence and slowly erode your passion, or either them going and saying something or doing something that is totally whacked and totally in opposition of what you want to do and where you want to go. There are people who you can hang with, but you don't have to make them a permanent part of your circle. So there are friends you grow up with, you know them, you're good, but you have to know your 1 week people, your 1 day people, your 1 hour people, and your 10 minutes people. What do I mean? You have to know the people who can spend a week around, or who is around you often for the whole week, those who are around you for only a day, those who are around you for a weekend, and those who are around you for an hour. You must know that, because if you want to go and to do things that you have never done, you have to be somebody that you have never been. Jay-Z said it well. He said that people say that I've changed, but how can I work so hard and still be the same? I didn't do it to be the same. I did it to change. You must change. In our culture, I always tell people that people always say, oh, they got rich and switch. Well, if you get rich, you better switch. Otherwise, they're going to tear you down because the mindset is different. What they want is different. Who they are is different. Where they're going is different. So it is a full-time job running your life. An entire full-time job. You have to navigate. You have to set your processes. You have to immerse yourself. You have to work through your problems. You have to work through your issues. You have to learn. You have to take the action on the things you need to take the action on. All of that's a full-time job. You don't need another part-time job to fix somebody else. Go around people who have already fixed themselves so that when you put yourself together with them, you can learn from them. They say if you're the sharpest person or the brightest person in the room, you need a new room. If you are running a race against me, let's say I'm quicker than you. if you are running a race against me, or in other words, let's say I'm running a race against you and you are quicker, your being out ahead of me is naturally going to pull my efforts to go faster. So I will run faster, I will improve when I'm in the circles that are ahead of me because it's going to pull me. You are running with people that you have to pull. So the drive for you to run faster is not necessarily always at its peak. And you have to know that. But when you are running with a crowd that is doing it bigger than you are, then you will push more. So I learned this when I was starting out, and that's why you have to know what you're doing. That the first $1 million you make will bring you into a $5 million room. You're not $5 million. You want $5 million. You want to get into that room, but you cannot skip and do all the things that the 5 million people are doing. What you need is their process between 2 and 4 million. So you can get to 9 to 10 million to get into the $10 million room. You will be in the circle, but you won't be able to leverage the way they're leveraging and do what they're doing. You have to know your lane and you can't jump the gun. They'll teach you a lot because that's a crowd you need. You don't need to be in the $1 million crowd because you are the $1 million crowd. You need a crowd to bring you higher. But people stay stuck in their crowd. That's why policemen drink together. That's why nurses go out together. That's why hairdressers hang out at the same parties, because people are just stuck in there and nobody's learning anything from anybody because everybody is in the same pool, swimming in that same blue ocean, getting the same air, same ideas, same oxygen, doing the same thing. The other guy takes himself away. Same hairdresser who you see, you say, oh, he's moving as if he's different. And in a couple of months or years, you see them with this whole spa and they're making a different business and expanding and doing 10 more shops. And how did they do it? They didn't stay stuck with that whole group that they're from. They went to seminars. So they fly out to town. They're in California. They're in LA. They're getting among people who are doing franchises all over the place. And they're improving and stepping up their game. Bloggers who are blogging and have 10,000 subscribers and 3,000 subscribers, they're going to a seminar that is run by a guy who have 1 million subscribers. They're getting into a bigger circle. They're not stuck in that same old small pond that brought them to where they are. So you cannot do the same things and expect a different result. So if you're rolling with the same crowd that is not leveling up with you, that's not saying, hey, I heard about this conference, let's go. Man, you got to go because you know what? You're at 10, I'm at 9, and these guys are at 20. We could learn something from them. It sounds kind of expensive, but hey, why not go and see what's going on there? Maybe there's something to learn. I just see somebody put a review that they went there and they're now at a 15. That's what you want to do. You don't want to be going up a hill and you have other people who are pulling you somewhere else. So you have your work to do. You have something to finish. You have a project to finish. And your friends are calling you, hey man, this is the party that we're going to go. And this is that. No, you want friends who said, hey, call you the odd morning to say, hey, last night, I had a friend who went out there. It was a good time. How you doing? How was that project you're working on? And say, hey, you are saying to them, hey, you didn't call me. You're like, no, I know you had your project to work on, man. That was more important. But I just went and represented and, everybody was asking for you, but tell them that you're busy. I know you're working on your stuff, man. Because last week when I was working on my stuff, you never disturbed me. That's what I'm talking about. You need people who are going to understand and not going to drive you. Hey, man, why don't you put on that project, man? Let's go party a little bit. You're pretending as if, man, you want to conquer the world or you want to do all this thing by yourself and you don't have a minute for yourself. You'll take a minute, man. Let's go have a drink, man. You pretend as if you're better than us. You don't hang with us anymore. That's going to drain you. Get around people who are after the same things that you're after. Cut them off. Cut them off. Forget it. Reduce your interaction. Reduce your time. If you want it bad enough, you're not going to let them stand in your way. Because at the end of the day, they are going to be okay living the way they're living. And you are going to feel robbed because you never stopped or you never had the courage to go on your own to go follow your own mind, to become what you want to become and do what you want to do because of them. And then the next thing you know, they cut you off and you spend many years sacrificing your dreams because they weren't in agreement with it and they weren't supporting it. And then you have years wasted and then they're no longer around. They move to Australia or some stupid gossipy crap make them cut you off and you waste your life with them and then they're gone. You are responsible for your life. You are grown. When you're a child, you think like a child and you act like a child. Now you're grown. You act like a grown-up person. You're not in high school. You don't need validation. You don't need all these people around you to be chummy and love it. You have bigger dreams and bigger goals. You will attract the people who are fitting to where you are going. Once you are a good person, once you have a good heart, you will always find good people. That's the law of the universe. People with good hearts are not lonely. I'm telling you. Because you will have that intuition to find good people. So know that. There's this guy put it beautifully. And I just want to leave this video. I'll close it off here. But this guy put it well. I read it in a book once. I don't remember where it was. It's not my saying. He says, when I was 16, all I cared about was what people think about me. When I was 16 to about 22, all I cared about was what people thought about me. When I was 35, I realized that what I care about is what I think about me, what I thought about myself. When I was 45, I realized that no one was thinking about me. All these years, no one was thinking about me. And then at 60, I realized that I don't care what anybody think about me or if anyone was thinking about me. So believe in yourself, go your own path, shed that childish chummy, have to be validated, have to be loved and cherished, have to be supported by these people, and decide that if you're going there and you have people to go there with you, fine. But if you have to go it alone, that's what you will do. Because you're going to get what you want, because nothing else will feel better than satisfying your desires, the belly feeling, that internal feeling and push and drive that you're getting to become somebody or to do a certain thing. All these things will fall away. All your friends, all your family, all that will fall away from you. And in the nights when your head's on the pillow, you have to deal with you. And when all these things fall away, you got your conscience and your soul to answer to. And if you don't do what you believe that you're called to do, you'll never be able to silence your mind. And you will get the biggest and the greatest killer and the greatest burden of old age. And that is regrets. You cannot afford to live your golden years. What they call your golden years. I don't believe it's golden. You cannot get to live your latter years, your late years, in regret, because that's the worst feeling to live with when you're old. Go out there, chart your own course. Don't seek any validation. Let the chips fall where they may. Go for what you want and be yourself. Thank you. Have a good one. Always a pleasure.